So I'm going to carry on sharing the presentation. I'll try to go as quickly as I can while still making sure you are able to get the gist of everything. So the next bit is around email marketing. And there's key things I wanted to touch on with email marketing, which was messaging, segmentation, targeting, and automations. Now, there's certain tools that I really want to arm you with at the end of this course. I want you to be able to do basic email marketing because you will need to as a marketing executive and even as a senior marketing a seasoned marketing person, you will need to know how email marketing works so that when you have somebody on your team who is implementing the email marketing, who's implementing the newsletters, you know what to look out for. The second thing I want to arm you with is content marketing. So content marketing is very, very key, especially for niche industries, where niche industries are industries that are very specific. So, for example, I'm in a niche industry, biotech, genomics. It's very, very niche. Like, it's just literally the people who know. Yeah, it's literally one of those things like, when on social media people say IYK, what do you cool people say? IYK, YK. If you know, you know that those are niche industries. So what they do is very specific, usually very often complex. Those are niche industries. And then also for new companies like startups who are trying to build some talkability around their brand and build out their brand voice and have more of a share of brand voice. Content marketing is very key. It's also very key when you're trying to boost the ranking. So there's something called SERP, which is a search engine ranking position. And Victor will teach you more about this on Saturday. It's where, like I described earlier, when you search for, say, for example, I search for property, and I'm saying property for low-income earners, like that example that Uju gave. Her company should come up in the first page. That's how you know that search engine optimization has been done very well for that brand. Now, content marketing helps boost that. It helps boost your ranking. If you're on page 3 or page 4, it can move you from there to a higher level on the page, especially if you do it right. Because what it is content marketing is, there's something called crawlers in the web. Think of a spider that is just putting out its web. There's something called crawlers on the web. And these crawlers will pick up when something is being used often, or there is, so think about it like Spider-Man. This is a terrible example because I'm not a big animations gal, but think about it like Spider-Man, right? And think about it like his different webs going to different places, right? Now, when you do content marketing right, if you put out blogs and lots of content and people are picking up your content, it picks on all the different times your brand is being mentioned, right? It doesn't know what kind of pieces it's picking up. All it just knows is that Piggyvest is being mentioned over and over and over and over and over and over again. And the more talkability there is about your brand, the more these crawlers kind of pick up on it, and the more that boosts your ranking. And Victor, again, will talk about this in more detail. But now where you come in as a marketer, because you're not a search engine specialist and you're not a developer, is being able to say, how can we talk about our brand in such a way? In fact, you know what? Let's go into content marketing first, and then we'll come back to email marketing, because email marketing, I'll have to take you into MailChimp, and then we'll end our day there. So content marketing, like I said, all the benefits are here. It builds brand awareness, trust, loyalty, all of that good stuff. Recruitment marketing that I mentioned about earlier, it also helps with that. Now, I'm going to go back. Now, with content marketing, right? You want to talk about your brand in such a way that It doesn't seem like you're repeating the same thing over and over and over and over again. Case in point, the property tech that Uju mentioned earlier, where she said it was a property startup that essentially was making housing accessible for people who are low income earners. They're able to save towards a property, or they're able to pay in installments to own their own property. Now, content marketing looks like saying, okay, we're going to create different blog posts or blog pieces about the benefits of owning your own house. It doesn't always have to be salesy, like, okay, this is our property tech, this is what we do, this is how you can get property. No. It can be things, it can be indirect marketing, things like things to look out for when trying to own your property, documents that you need to acquire when buying property. It could be different things. However, one thing that needs to be present in all of these pieces of blog posts that you're putting out are you need to kind of find a way to tie it back to your company. Now, when you do search engine marketing, there's something known as backlinks, where you send pieces of blog posts out to people who have lots of traffic. So, for example, in Nigeria, you might want to use something like a Bella Niger. In Kenya, you might want to use, I don't know what's really popular there, but for example, if you're in Ghana, you might want to use something like an MEA Deborah that's very popular, that has a lot of traffic, to talk about your brand. And it doesn't always have to be something very direct and salesy, like, oh, if you're looking for property, come and buy from us. No. You need to make sure that you're drafting content in such a way that it pulls the right audience in. Now, in this particular instance, where Uju talked about this being for low-income earners, it could even look like something like putting a post on Instablog, right? So you're putting something on Instablog where you know that all manners and calibers of people go onto Instablog. And you're putting something on the website that talks about, it could even be in pidgin, because you want to speak the language of the people that you're trying to target, right? So it could be something like, my pidgin is really bad. It could be something like, I don't know, no get property, no wahala. Oh God, guys, I'm so sorry. But you catch my drift. It could be something along those lines, like that could be your headline. And then in the body of it, you're talking about how, you want to essentially, people who are looking for property, this is how they can get property. These are some of the documents that they need to make sure that they get when they acquire property. That is all content marketing. Now, I'm going to take you to the next slide, which is repurposing content. Now, this is a big part of content marketing. I have encountered so many people who tell me they're content marketers who don't do this. Now, you have one piece of content. Say, for example, this example that I gave where I said we put out a blog post and then we share that same blog post with Instablog so that they can put it on their website, right? Now, that content piece is just one piece of content. But from that content piece, you can get different types of content out of that piece, right? You can get bite-sized pieces of information that is now going out. Think of it again, spiderweb is going out on different platforms. So you're thinking about, okay, how do I craft something from this piece onto Twitter? How do I craft something from this piece onto LinkedIn? How do I craft something from this piece and do a LinkedIn article that's maybe different, right? But the same content in essence. Maybe I'm just putting out a LinkedIn article that just has 3 bullet points and I'm just summarizing the same content for LinkedIn. You're thinking about bringing that piece of information for Instagram. Maybe it's even Instablog's Instagram, and you have a video of somebody talking about how they really would love to have their own property one day, but they just don't know how to go about it. And then, you're putting that out on Insta blog, and in the comment section, you now redirect people to on the copy, you redirect people to the website. And in that way, you're feeding people the same piece of article, that same article that you have drafted. You're finding different channels to pull in different people to that same piece of information. Now, the more people come from different channels, the more the crawlers are going about and they're like, oh, okay, looks like there's a lot of popularity around this subject. Looks like there's a lot of mention of this brand. And that's how you boost your ranking. Does that make sense? Drop me a note in the chat if I'm making sense, or if you'd like me to use another example, because this is actually quite important. And I feel like just in terms of the people that I've worked with in the past, and even interviewing marketing people who want to come into marketing, this is something that they struggle with. But it's actually very, very, it's such an easy concept once you get your head around it. Because what you're doing is essentially you're making life easy for yourself. Because if you have one blog post, you're like, okay, from that blog post, my social media content calendar, I can do like 10 posts or 15 posts. And it's all saying different things, talking about different things, but at the same time, you're pulling people back to your original blog content. Yeah? Please use another example. Okay. So let me see. I'm going to take you back here. I don't know why I have this link in here. I have the wrong link. So I'm just going to come out of here real quick. I'm going to share an example with you. Just give me a second. Let me know when you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, so Backdrop. Backdrop is I'm not sure what type of startup they are, but they are a startup. I would say they're a travel app, but I'm not sure what branch of the startup world they are. Actually, they're actually a SaaS company. So they're they're a software as a service company, where they don't have a product, they don't have physical evidence like we talked about earlier. So it's just an app. You get on the app and you're able to utilize the product. So companies like that are called SaaS companies, so software as a service. So the software is the app. Yeah. Now, this is a piece that they put out when they first started. So they said, if there aren't any beautiful, envy-inducing pictures to prove you went on a holiday, did it really happen? And this story just talks about how they came about this new product. What started it? Who started it? How a Backdrop is solving the existing problem. So you remember the presentation I just had you do? Problem statement, solution. That's very important when you're looking to do your first presentation for a company, is saying, this is the problem. This is the big idea. This is what you guys employed me for. This is how I'm going to go about solving the problem that you have asked me to solve. And this just goes on and on about how the problem evolved, evolution of the idea, building not just an app, but a community. What I'm going to do now is, because this was actually supposed to be this was supposed to be an exercise, but I'm not going to put you in breakout rooms because we have very limited time. I'm going to share this link, because the best way for you to know how to employ this is if we actually have you do it, right? So I'm going to put this link on the meeting group chat, right? And as you read, I want you to raise your hand when you have a tweet ready from me. We're going to create tweets from this piece of information here, right? So I want you to read through. As you find a tweet, just give it to me. Yeah, so raise your hand when you have a tweet ready for me. That is an example of repurposing content. They've talked about how the company started. They've talked about, assume that you are managing Backdrop's Twitter and you've just joined the company. You don't know anything. I mean, you've just joined the company. This is a blog post that somebody has worked on. and they tell you, okay, we need you to start tweeting from the official handle. What are the first tweets that you will make? Because this is a good example of like a very long, drawn out blog. It's not long, it's not that long. It's about a 4-minute read, so not too long. So this is an example of something that has been drafted for you. It's ready, it's good to go. Now do the first tweets from the company's website, from the company's handle, from Backdrop's handle. Yeah. So as you get ideas, just raise your hand. I just need 1 tweet per person. Do you guys all have access to the link?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we do. Reading already.
Okay, fab. Fantastic. So Grace just posted one. Backdrop isn't just for travelers and content creators. It's for anyone with a sense of adventure. I like that. That is a really good tweet, because from this, what you have just done is that you have increased, without knowing, you've increased your market share. So where before it could have been marketed as just for travelers and content creators, the average person who just likes to know things can be like, oh, okay, let me download the app. So that's really good. I do want you to note, though, that you are, bear in mind, these are the first tweets from the Backdrop handle. So what should you be focused on first of all? Ibaize, fantastic. Your go-to app dedicated to finding pretty places. So what you want to do in the first instance is introduce what Backdrop is, right? So it's a new business. Nobody knows what you do. Nobody knows why you're doing it. So the first thing is you want to introduce yourselves, right? We're not just an app. We're a community of explorers passionate about finding beauty in the world around us. I love that. That's beautiful storytelling, Agogo. If you share our values of curiosity, creativity, and respect, then we invite you to join us on our journey. I love that. That's fantastic. Very well done, in the sense that you have done some storytelling about who you are. I kind of get the sense of what your brand is, in terms of just that it feels very like a very cozy, very warm brand, but also a very vibrant brand. Just by saying you want to find beauty in the world around us, that's really good. Plan all your travel experience from the comfort of your home. Find out how with Backdrop. I like that too. Ooh, we have some very, very, very fantastic marketers in the house today. Brilliant. Are you finding it hard discovering pretty places to take pictures? Use Backdrop. I like that too. So now, basically, what you guys have done is that you have repurposed content. That's it. You've utilized this blog content to create content for yourselves, for you to utilize on Twitter. So that's a very good example. Does that now make sense? For, I don't know who it was that was saying, could I please use another example? Are you clear now?
Yes, I'm okay. Thank you, Moyo.
Nah, that's a pleasure. Okay, so very quickly, because we are out of time, we will jump into MailChimp. So I'm going to share my screen. So MailChimp, for those who are, where am I going? For those who are not familiar, MailChimp is a really good tool for email marketing. So when you get messages from banks and emails from banks, emails from maybe online stores that you shopped from before, like, hey, thinking of you, looks like you forgot something. All of that is email marketing. And it's a really good skill to have as a marketing executive and as a seasoned marketer. There's been times where, even as a senior marketer, I've had to do my own email newsletters. In my previous role, the company, the person I reported to, the CEO was very particular about how we messaged. And so for the longest time, he didn't want anybody else having custody of our email newsletters. He wanted me to handle it personally. And so I had to know how to send newsletters out. And because we're an e-commerce platform, newsletters were very, 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 very key to the business. A lot of our sales came in from actually sending out newsletters. So this is a really important skill set to have. And so one of 3 of the things I'm going to focus on today: messaging, which it seems like a lot of you already have a firm grasp of. Messaging from email newsletters, very, very important. Let's go into one of them. So this is my MailChimp for, I can't take you into my companies, or my previous companies, email newsletter backend either because of intellectual property. I can't take you into my current one either. So we're going to use the MailChimp for my, I have a not-for-profit, that's mine. We help single moms and widows. We give them money, stipends every month. So to supplement what they're getting as, you know, in their businesses, a lot of them do like trading, a lot of them are cleaners, a lot of them are, you know, they earn less than the minimum wage every month, and they have children that they have to provide for. So we help them out every month. And so this is an example. I'm going to take you to my campaigns. So you have something called campaigns, automations, audience. You can see your audience. Let me just give you a run through. You can see your audience dashboard here. It will tell you who your audience is. It'll tell you what the recent growth is. Because this is not, I send out emails to our sponsors, so people who give every month to these beneficiaries. We don't send out emails as much. So you'll find here recent growth is just, you know, non-subscribed. But here's really a good way to see how many people have subscribed, how many people have unsubscribed from your emails, because sometimes I don't know if you've seen that when you get emails, you have an option at the bottom that says you can unsubscribe from getting emails from that particular company. You have sign up forms here where you can actually build out a sign up form. So I've done that before in a previous role where I have, so you go in and these sign up forms are essentially like links that you can create. And when people click on those links, they can sign up to your newsletter. That's what they are in plain terms. This is taking forever. But essentially you can build out the sign up form. It'll even tell you, so already it's really nice because it's pretty much automated. It'll just say sponsors of SAM. So this is SAM is the name of my not-for-profits. It's called Sponsor a Mom. That's what it stands for. And it'll just ask you what you want to include. So you can include here, if you want to, you can include address, or you can take that out using this minus sign here if you don't want to include address. But that's a good way to get information and build out your database. Remember, we spoke about database earlier, where we said that if you want to build out the number of people that you're messaging to repeatedly, or you want to build a community, this is a really good way of getting the information of those people. So you can put it in different places. You can put it on your website. You can put it on your social media. The nice thing about social media now is that you can do that link tree thing that allows you to have different links in your bio. So do you guys know about Linktree? Is that something that you've used before? Show of hands. Yes, you used it. Fantastic. So you can use Linktree to include, you can just put your website link, you can put your sign up to our newsletter link, you can put different links to different things. You can put, if you have a Medium account, you can put your Medium account there. If you want people to read your blog, remember we spoke about content marketing, driving traffic to what you're putting out. You want to include that there. Read our blog here or something like that. And then this is a website configuration as well, where it allows you to design your site, but you don't need to know that. Now let's move to the campaigns and specifically how to target, how to automate your campaigns. In here is automations, right? And here you can map out your customer journey. So here, there's some journeys that are already here on MailChimp, which is brilliant because what that does is that you don't have to build from scratch. So for example, when somebody new comes on or you add a new person onto your audience list here, you can create something called like customer journeys. So you can say you want to start having people that sign up to sponsors of SAM receive a welcome email. Now, this welcome email, you can decide what you want it to look like. So your subject can change. For me, because I run Sponsor Mom, it is all about like helping women in need. I can decide to title my subject something like, because if somebody is signing up, there's a high likelihood that they are sponsors, right? Thank you for joining our network in helping single moms and widows in Nigeria. So usually I would go for something more witty, but this just gives you an example. I like to use the preview text option as well, because that's that little text that you always see before you open emails. You can say something like, we're so happy to have you. Like you can see here, it says this snippet will appear in the inbox after the subject line. You can just put, we're so happy to have you, something as simple as that. And you can also choose the schedule you want. So you can decide to say, which days should your emails be sent out? What time of day should your email be sent out? And you can say any day, every day, and as soon as possible. That's a good way. That's a good one to have. All right. And the thing about like having analytics, so Google Analytics, again, that's something that Victor will touch on. If I connect my Google, if I configure this in such a way that my Google Analytics is feeding information to my MailChimp, there's a lot more that I can do. I can track the type of people that are coming onto my website, where they're coming in from. I can see who's coming onto my website the most. Are they from Lagos? Are they from Abuja? Are they from Nigeria? Are they from Ghana? Are they from Kenya? Where in Kenya are they coming in from? And that can help me also re-strategize. So I can say, oh, lots of interest from Kenya. So maybe I need to create a plugin, for example, for and that can be, if I were marketing, what I would then say to a me is, we're seeing lots of people are coming into the website from Kenya. Perhaps we want to include a plugin that allows people to donate directly from Kenya, as opposed to having them sending emails to say, hi, how do I get behind this? How do I join the network? How do I start contributing directly to my beneficiary? That limits the amount of inbounds that we're getting. And that also boosts our traffic in terms of the traction that we're getting. Does that make sense? Cool. So that's just something that you can do here. And then, so that's on automations, and you can build out your own journeys. You can decide, okay, if somebody has viewed my thing a lot, my website a lot, I want to mention things like, if you have, say, for example, an online platform, you can even say, hey, forgot something today, or looks like you forgot something in your cart. Those are all journeys that are built out on MailChimp, right? Now, to the campaign itself, you can do things like, so one of the things that I always do when I send out emails is, let's go to the more recent one. And you can also view reports. So you can add that to your reports that you build out at the end of the month. You can say, oh, this is what I did. This is what I was able to accomplish with email marketing. And it gives you the reports right there. You can just add it as a screenshot. So this is the last message that I sent to our sponsors. I gave them a brief snapshot of, this was something I created on Canva. This, a quick look. I don't know if you guys can see my screen very well. Let me try and see if I can zoom in properly. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Let me zoom. Oh, I went out. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. So this was a food drive that we had to end our year. This is my grandma on the right. So she helped out because I wasn't in Nigeria at the time. And so she gave a talk to a lot of the moms. So I got her sponsor mom shirt. So there she is. And this is one of our volunteers. And this is one of the ladies that we support. And then this was my email. It said, hi. And so there's a code that you can use when you send out emails, this is what it looks like. Let me see if I can type it here. It's literally /F, capital F, capital name, / so let me see if I can put it on the chat. And this allows you, so you know when you get emails that say, that's what it looks like. You know when you get emails that say, and if you want to use their last name, you say L name, that's what it looks like. So first name, last name. So when you receive the email, it will come as, "Hi, Moyosola. I hope you're doing okay. And the end of the year is meeting you well and with good cheer, Moyo." Do you see what I did there? So I'm creating a relationship. I always get like feedback on these emails that go out, that people are like, thank you for thinking of me. But all I've done is literally just automated, right? So I've just added in a code. Now this will only work if in your audience list, you've put in their first name and their last names. It will not work if they don't have their first name. So how you enter your data. So when you go here, so this was what the newsletter looked like. It was just a roundup of some of the amazing things that happened through the year, right? And this is how much went out in terms of the donations that we sent out that year, etc. Now, if you go into your audience dashboard and you go to all contacts, now you can see the first name of each person is there, the last name of each person is there, and their emails. If you have somebody who isn't, and you don't have their first name and you put in that code, it's not going to work. What they will see is first name, right? And you don't want them seeing that. Is that understood? Or should I go over that again? Yeah, okay. I should go over it again. Okay. So in your audience list, now say, for example, I want to add a new audience. Let me go through that with you. So here where it says manage contacts, I click on that. And I click on, add contacts, right? Add a subscriber. If you have a Google spreadsheet, you can literally just copy paste. It will give you that option here. It will say import contacts. You can import from a spreadsheet. Now you include their email address. So say I want to send it to I want to be an audience on the list. I'll include my email here. And then I'll include my first name and my last name. Oh, I don't want you people knowing where I live. But yeah, I'll include my email and then first name, last name, and phone number. All of that stuff will go in here. As much information as I possibly can is always like the rule of thumb, so that when I say F name, it'll pick up Moyosola. If I say last name, it will pick up Kara. If these two bits are blank, what they're going to see is F name. And you don't want that happening, right? So that's important. Now, one of the things I want to show you is segmentation, segmenting your audience. This is not a very big database of people. So in terms of segmentation, it might be a bit difficult to show you, but you can create segments, right? So at Easy, we had different customers in different regions with different scale of businesses because we're a B2B, right? Now, so when I wanted to send emails to Ukraine, for example, I needed to write in Ukraine. I needed to write in the language, right? And so I don't want somebody in Nigeria receiving something in a language that they don't understand. So in that way, I need to segment my audience. I need to make sure that people in Ukraine are receiving the content in their language. People in, for example, Kenya are receiving their content in Swahili. It can even be things like, for example, it doesn't have to be country or region. It can even be things like scale of business. So say, for example, we're offering discounts to businesses that are small scale. Again, I would have had to make sure that when imputing these contacts, I also indicate the size of companies. So that way, when I tell MailChimp, segment my audience by size of business, MailChimp knows where to get that information. Because the thing about tech is that human beings are still powering a lot of the information. You have to put the information there so that the machine can learn what it is you're asking it to do. You guys have heard of ChatGPT. ChatGPT has become more successful and has become more effective now than when it was initially built, because more people have been utilizing it. So the more information people are giving it, the more it is processing information. It's like, oh, okay, when people ask, create my CV for me, this is what they actually mean, or these are the things that they wanted to do. Because the thing about ChatGPT that makes it so effective is I can say, so say, for example, I tell it, create or truncate this text that I've sent you. I want to use it for my LinkedIn, right? And it generates something from me. I can go back and say, actually, no, I'm not happy with this, regenerate. And the more I click on regenerate, the more the tool is learning, okay, when people say, make this text, repurpose this text for LinkedIn, it's actually saying do it in 50 characters or do it in 100 characters. So you need to give your tools all the information they need to work with. Otherwise, it'll be ineffective. That's why you can use MailChimp and I can use MailChimp and we can get completely different results. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I can give my segment a name. In this, I can also decide I want to segment by maybe Lagos donors, right? And I can add a filter. I can say what the contact details I needed to say, like the email client, maybe their first name is, and it's so crazy because, so let me see what we can segment here, because it's such a small list. Okay, let's say donors, let's even just decide we're going to use something like consistent donors, right? And then I add filter and I can say something like, there's no way to kind of tell who's been consistent, except I had included something like frequency of donation. Let me see if we can segment by location. Again, like I said, I haven't given this tool a lot of information to work with, so it's not going to be very useful to me. But say I said location, or let's say I say segment name, Lagos donors, and I go add filter. So this filter will pick up the people that are well suited to that segment. So I can say here, predicted location is within 25 miles of Lagos, Nigeria. Validate location, and it will use the location. Can you see how amazing that is? So it literally went to the map and pinpointed where in Lagos. Now I can see that it's mostly picking up Lekki. So I can decide to increase the number of miles so that it covers a wider range. And I can go 50 miles of Lagos, Nigeria. Validate location. Use this location. Review segments. Let's see if it pulls anything up. 26 contacts of my 50 contacts are in Lagos. And that way, guess what? You have your Lagos donors. Do you see what I mean? And so now you can send select emails. So if I say, for example, I'm doing a food drive in Lagos, I can send it out to my Lagos donors to say, hi, would you like to join us for our for our food drive? We're going to be hosting some of the ladies. This is your opportunity to get to meet some of the people that you've been supporting over the past year and some change. Does that make sense? This is important that you get this. And then there's lots of other segmentation types that you can do. And then I'm going to go into back to the presentation. Text is also very key, the type of text you use. Let me actually go to, okay, I'm trying to come out of here now and it's not letting me. Okay, close. Let me go to the campaigns that I've done. So the text, the messaging that you use is also very important. Don't go on and on and on. There's no need. Let me go to one of the very first emails that I sent. Okay, no. I'm trying to see if we can see the subject titles that I used. So that way you're able to get a big picture, like a good sense. Or you can also schedule. Let's not forget. You can schedule when you want your emails to go out. So many of these emails that I send out, I don't send them exactly at the time that I do it, because many times I'm doing it like at midnight, so I want people to receive the emails at a time that is optimal for them to read the emails. So I can select when I want it to go out. So I'll go to, if I was doing a campaign, okay, let me try and see if let's go through a campaign together. Let's do a campaign together and then we'll end the day there. So I'm going to replicate what I sent in December 2022. And just use that as a template. So now here, so say I'm trying to send out an email now. We are in October. I'll name it October 2023, right? And save that. Just so I remember when I sent it. I can edit the recipient. Again, if I had a tag, right? I can go to new segments. Can you see that? So if I had a segment that I created, I can send it specifically to that segment. And I can even choose who I don't want to receive it. If there's a particular person that I feel should not receive that email, I can add them there, right? And then the subject. This was the subject line that I used back then. A quick look at our 2022. And my preview text was open to view a short report. So already, before you've even opened the email, you know exactly what you're looking at. You know where this email is coming from. It's coming from Sponsor a Mom Network. So because this is not like a paid version, I can still send using my own email, themoyosola@yahoo.com, but the title that will show, it'll show that it's coming from Sponsor a Mom Network. So they know who's messaging them and they know what to expect. Subject title, keep it very short and brief. There's no need for it to be more than 10 words. In fact, if it's 10 words, that's a problem. Say what you need to say as quickly as you can. And then in the preview text, you're saying something like open to view a short report. And send time, you can edit the send time. You can edit it and say you want it to go out, schedule a time, and you want it to go on this particular time. Do you understand? And then cancel. And then in the text here, in the content, you can edit the design. You can say how you want the design to look. You can use, because I just replicated what I had done before, it'll show me the same email and I can change it up however I like. So if you design something on Canva or you want to include a different picture, I can click here and say replace and just put whatever image I want to put in there. I can put my text in here. I can change this. If this was a blank page, I can also use these blocks here. And it will tell me, do I want to put an image group? Where is it now? I just click on this. I click on this. I can duplicate. I can decide what type of box it needs to be. And there's different templates that are already built into the system that you can use, right? And this was just me here. I used the option that allows me to put 2 images. So I put all the images I wanted to put in here. And that was it. You send it out. You go continue. You can go here to preview. You can enter preview mode, see what it would look like if it was coming to you on a regular day, right? When you're happy with this, I put in a button that says chat with Chidima because Chidima is our head of, she's one of the people that works on Sponsoring Mom. And I just essentially used her WhatsApp and created a WhatsApp link. You guys know that you can do that, right? You can create a WhatsApp link. So on here, people can go directly to chat with Chidima and they can let her know if there's any complaints, if there's any suggestions, if there's anything they need to ask about, it goes directly there. So if I click on that, it went here to share on WhatsApp. I can continue to my chats. And already I built in a text that says, hi, Chidima, I'd like to talk to you about Sponsoring Mom. So Chidima knows exactly what you're going to be talking to her about. And that's really easy to do. Let's do that together. So we can create, so you just go create WhatsApp link from a number. So if you have a number, you can just create a link. It'll take you here. What would you like to do today? Can you see my screen with the WhatsApp link?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Fantastic. So you just go here, generate my own WhatsApp link. It'll ask me for my phone number. I can put my phone number in. It will ask me, do you want a custom message that users will send to you? So this is why I put, hi, Chidima. I'd like to talk to you about Sponsor a Mom. And that's what Chidima will get. Every time somebody clicks that link that I generate, she'll receive a message, hi, Chidima, I'd like to talk to you about Sponsor a Mom. And then that's it. And that's all built into your campaign builder. Again, a lot of these things, this is a lot of information to take in. And I understand that it can be a bit, complex if it's your first time in marketing or you're a marketing newbie. But these are all things that the more you practice, the more it becomes pretty much very, very custom to you, and it'll just be your default setting. All these features are in the free version, Oluwatosin. So yeah, they're all in the free version. This is a free version I just showed you. So you can actually put it in there as it is. Hope that answers your question. So and I think that really is, I was hoping we'll be able to do a practical exercise on the bits about content repurposing, but we actually did. A lot of you shared in the chat box. Well done. And that's it. To be continued. So next Saturday, around this time, we'll try to keep to time. So we're 19 minutes over. I really, really wanted to be able to keep to time, but next week we will continue, and we'll continue with events. We'll talk a bit about social media marketing as well. And I will hand over to Victor to take you through search engine marketing and what that looks like and how to utilize SEMrush as a tool. So before we go today, I'd like you guys to just, is there any questions, comments, anything that you want to share? Has this been helpful to you? Because that's really important to me. I hope it's been invaluable to you as well. If there are any questions that you have, let me know. And am I on LinkedIn? Yes, I am on LinkedIn. So if you search Moyosola Kara, it should come up. I've just sent it to you, Oluwatosin. It's been very insightful. Do we get the certificate next week? I believe you do. I believe you do. It was an insightful session. So yeah, definitely, guys, don't miss next week and try to come early. I noticed there were a few latecomers today. We will start at exactly 10 o'clock because there is quite a bit to get through. And I want to make sure Victor has ample time to spend with you as well. So I'll probably be in the first session with you for an hour, and then I will leave so that Victor can take over, because I know that search engine marketing is something that a lot of people have said they really, really want to learn. It's going to take you through website analytics. It's going to take you through marketing analytics. It's going to also show you how you can use those data and insights to feed it back into your marketing strategy. And I'll speak a little bit about that as well when I do the first session in the morning from 10 till 11. But please come prepared with your questions. Come prepared with everything that you want to learn. My LinkedIn profile, my full name. Okay, everyone's asking for my full name. Let me just share that with you. It is Moyosola Kara, Kare. That's it, guys. Oh, somebody has a question. Okay, Daniela, we'll take a question and then we'll wrap up. Unmute your mic. That's fine.
Thanks, Moyo. Very insightful and very practical class. So my question would be that I remember onboarding this client who had a database of over 50,000 contacts to MailChimp. And because they were running COVID tests at the time and they wanted to convert their audience from COVID testing into the clinical audience. And immediately we did that to MailChimp. MailChimp literally flagged our accounts. And, since then, we've not been able to import. And then aside that, there's a database in-house, like a CRM tool that compiles all the contacts. And so we have a database of over 50,000 people that we can onboard to MailChimp because it's really asking for sign-up links. So I wanted to ask, have you experienced this challenge before? If you have, how did you combat it? Are there other ways to import a large number of contacts to MailChimp without being suspended?
So, yeah, that's a very good question. So what I found with MailChimp is it will only flag if you have not paid for the subscription that allows you to have that many people on your audience. So the way MailChimp works is there's a certain bill for different numbers of audience. So for example, by the time I think I go over 1,000, it will start to flag my accounts and say, okay, you need to get on the paid version. Because the thing is, if you impute all your database in there, you can also be a bit tricky. You can be funny in the sense that, say, for example, there's a subscription that allows you to pay for 30,000 audiences, and you're very smart in the sense that every time you send an email, you make sure that it's just under 30,000 people that you're sending it to. So that's MailChimp's way of making sure you're not kind of finding ways to find a loophole, and you are paying for the service that you want. So it has a band for different numbers of audiences and how much you should be paying. So that probably happened because you didn't pay for the subscription that allows you to have 50,000 people. Or did
you paid for? But what the challenge was that MailChimp said they couldn't verify. They thought we're spamming people.
Oh, so yes.
Verify that we have the database that collected this thing. People actually signed up for for the mail stream, and so they signed up, but not through MailChimp. The MailChimp subscription link. I'm having a hard time actually getting them to having a hard time onboarding them now via MailChimp subscription link, and so it's pretty slow. So I was wondering if there's a hack around it. So I have to book a meeting with MailChimp and all of that.
That's what I was going to suggest. So you need to have a meeting with MailChimp because there's a lot of laws right now around the GDPR. I forget what it's called, but it's around consent, and consent is so important. So one thing I actually forgot to mention here is when you're building out that database, you need to make sure that people are consenting to receiving the comms that you're sending out to them. You can't just have somebody do cold calls, getting all these people's information, and then you're sending out email newsletters. They need to have consented to that email being sent to them. Otherwise, if you're working with a company that is or in an industry that is very heavily regulated, you can actually get into a lot of trouble. So I think my go-to would be to have a meeting, schedule a call with MailChimp, and you need to have the proof of the fact that people have actually consented to receiving comms from you. And by the time you present that, then that should be the flag should be lifted in that instance. But that's a very, very big thing that they're really kind of frowning against now. But in the meantime, if you're looking for another tool that you can utilize that works very similarly to MailChimp, you can also try Klaviyo. I don't think Klaviyo is as strict. It's called Klaviyo. Let me just put it in the chat. And the thing with Klaviyo is once you know how to use MailChimp, then you should be able to use Klaviyo. And it's very, very good in terms of segmenting audience and in terms of the analytics that it pulls out for you as well. Okay. Any more questions? Buluwatito, yeah, you can unmute your mic.
Thank you very much, Moyo. It's been a very, like you said, a lot of information for people that have not worked in marketing at all. So my previous question has been answered because I wanted to ask, what's the difference between, email marketing and cold emailing? I think for email marketing, I have to get consent. I would have gotten their email addresses ahead of time to, do email marketing. And I was going to ask also if, so when you say it's salespeople that are responsible for cold emailing, is it also salespeople that are responsible for email marketing, or is the difference between that and email marketing that cold emailing, you do it each time and then email marketing is automated? Then the second, the question that just came out from the last thing you said is that for email marketing, do I have to, just give me a minute. So the question is in my head, but I don't know how to ask it. Maybe we should start.
I answer the first question and then.
Yes. I think, yeah.
Okay, so cold emails are like they describe, they're cold. You've never met this person, you've never interacted with them, they're a stranger, essentially. And usually that would be sent out by sales teams. So some companies have what are called CRMs. They're like customer relationship management. I hope I have that right. Where they use tools like HubSpot or Salesforce to target these customers. And a lot of times people send cold emails on those platforms. Now, the difference between that and email marketing is that at the point that you are sending out a newsletter or sending out an email, at the point that you're deploying email marketing, these people have already come into the funnel, right? So at that point, they're no longer cold. They're people that now know of you. They have consented to receiving emails from you. That initial first conversation has been breached by a sales personnel. And so that's the distinction. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. So at the point where I'm sending out a cold email, I have to give an option to the person to ask if they would like to receive other emails, and then
exactly
candidates for email marketing.
Yes.
However, if I don't get that, I do not have, the consent to continue to reach out to that particular person.
No, you don't.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? I know there were a few people raising their hands. Okay. 2 more questions and then we're going to wrap up. Oh, 3 participants. Okay. So who wants to go first? And the other 2 can just drop their questions in the chat if that's okay. So I can just take everyone's questions very quickly.
Okay, can I say mine? It's just a short one.
That's fine.
Okay. So in MailChimp, right, where you're trying to subscribe people who are not already subscribed, like subscribe them to your newsletter. So there's this at the very bottom end, they say where you have to click, does this person have permission to receive this? Is that what you mean by how do I put this question now? So usually what I do is I just click that that the person has permission. So
Mm.
so it's just easier. So if I don't click on it, does that mean the person won't be subscribed, or the person will now have to receive email saying confirm this subscription? What does it mean? Because now I'm building, because I just recently started building the subscriber list on MailChimp, and I just went ahead. I was just adding a few contacts, and when I go to the end, it will say, I think it will say, does this person have permission? I'll just click on it and move on. But I want to know whether I should stop clicking on that, so that we won't get to a point where they will now flag us and say, all right.
I mean, it definitely depends on the number of people. So with the earlier example, because she had 50,000 people, they're just like, wait a minute, why are you like, how do you have this number of people, especially if you're uploading them all at a stretch? But yes, you answered your own question. Essentially, whenever you're, even somebody gave an example, I think it was Grace, who said she got most of her contact list at an event. Now, even at events, even if you're doing it on paper, you need to mention, it needs to state there, would you like to receive emails from us on a frequent basis? And that essentially, if you have to now sort of defend yourself against MailChimp at some point, that is a document that you can now share to say, oh, we actually got their consent. It has to be something that is recorded, however you want to go about it, whether that is via a phone call, and then you want to follow up with an email to say, hi, thank you so much for confirming that you're happy to receive regular communications from us. Please expect to receive it from this account, whatever that looks like. But it has to be recorded. And thank you for that, she didn't do. Yes, it is GDPR that I was trying to remember. Sometimes I forget, like I mumble words in my head, letters in my head. Somebody said, so we can say email marketing is direct form of marketing. Yes, it is. It depends. Again, like I said, how you message it really depends. If I'm sending the email market to say, buy this cup, that is direct marketing. If I send an email marketing with subject title that says, want to have a cup on me, that is indirect marketing. So it depends on your messaging. That's where comms comes in. Is there anyone I'm missing in terms of questions? I think you had another question for me. Did it come to mind?
No, it slipped. It hasn't come back.
It hasn't come back. Okay. Well, as you know, feel free to reach out. I know a bunch of you are connecting with me on LinkedIn. I'm going to drop my email address here as well. So if the question comes back to you, please feel free to just shoot me an email and I will make sure to respond. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for being here. I very nearly canceled. And I'm very glad now in hindsight that I didn't, because it has been a very, very, very hectic week. But I really hope that you were able to take a lot from this class. It's really, really vital to me that you gain a lot of value from here. And I hope that I get to see you again next weekend. And next weekend is even more, invaluable in that sense. But thank you for being here. Thank you to Comms Avenue for facilitating. Thank you, Damilola. You were awesome. And have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you, Moyo.
It's
Thank you, Mario.
Thank you.